in an age when monsters prowled the shadows of every home. A child no bigger than a thumb was born into a world that believed only in giants. Some say his parents wished so strongly for a child that the gods granted their prayer, but with a cruel sense of irony. Tonight, the smallest samurai steps from the darkness, and his blade will cut through nightmares. This is the secret of Issun Bōshi, the inch-high hero. Issun Bōshi was loved for his wit and joy, but pitied for his size. Barely as tall as a caterpillar, he looked harmless. Villagers whispered that he was defenseless and doomed to a life of ridicule. Even his own family feared for his destiny. Yet, inside that tiny frame, the fire of a true warrior raged, quiet, fierce, unyielding. One night, a blood-curdling howl echoed from the city's far edge. Word spread a monster was hunting. Issun Bōshi's parents begged him to stay hidden, but resolve flared in his heart. Armed only with a sewing needle as sword and a rice bowl as boat, Issun set out into the night, tiny but unafraid. In the looming dark, it isn't always the biggest who survives. Is your courage as sharp as a needle? Like this story, if you'd face a monster, no matter your size. People laughed and pointed as Issun rowed his rice bowl up the river, his bravery lost on those blind to greatness. Mocked and doubted at every turn, he pressed on alone, steeling his heart against those who would keep him small. Every sneer was a stone, but Issun built his resolve higher with each one. On the road, Issun met allies equally dismissed by the world, a stray mouse and a timid sparrow, both survivors in the shadows. With every challenge they faced together, a new strength awoke within him. For the first time, Issun realized big hearts outlast the longest shadows. City lights grew closer. Rumors of the demon's lair guided them to a haunted mansion where fear reigned. Issun's sword, just a glinting needle, flashed bravely against rats, traps, and lurking eyes. With each battle, the city's adults looked on in shock. Perhaps, just perhaps, size was not the measure of courage. Share your smallest victory in the comments. Let the shadows know how the tiniest heart can conquer the biggest fear. They reached the mansion's core, where evil waited. A giant, ghastly demon shrieked and swept Issun and friends into a pit. The end seemed certain, a hopeless, cramped grave beneath the floorboards, darkness pressing in like ice. Issun felt fear, colder and heavier than ever before. But as fate would have it, an ancient spirit flickered into the pit, a forgotten guardian of the house. She revealed to Issun the true heart of darkness, doubt itself. She offered a charm, tiny and blue, to steady his courage when the end seemed closest. With a rallying cry, Issun climbed from the pit, needle gleaming like a blade of moonlight. Side by side with his mouse and sparrow friends, he danced between claws and teeth, his smallness now his greatest weapon, striking where the beast could not reach. Subscribe to Shadow AI for legends, where the smallest spark lights the darkest nights. Atop the demon's heaving chest, Issun plunged his needle deep into its heart. The beast howled and thrashed. Darkness cracked like shattering glass. For an instant, silence, then the demon collapsed, defeated by the inch-high avenger, who refused to be overshadowed. The city awoke to news of the monster's end. At first, whispers dismissed the hero as a fairy tale, but Issun's courage kindled a spark in their hearts, and soon, all who trembled now walked a little taller. Yet, behind every closed door, ancient shadows still crept, waiting for the next unlikely hero. Issun Bōshi's tale is not of size, but of spirit. Where others run, he stands firm. Where most hide, he shines on. True might is born from belief, not brawn, and even a needle can cut through fear itself. If this legend inspired you, like and comment. The tiniest way you've made the biggest difference. Let's flood the shadows with courage. At home, Issun's parents embraced their son Tini, battered, but impossibly proud. The mouse and sparrow became legends of their own. Forgiveness washed away old doubts. Issun's deeds rejoined him to a world that at last saw him whole. The city crowned him their champion. Children whispered his name whenever storms threatened. Adults found hope in his laughter, and every discarded needle became a symbol of warrior spirit. Where once he was small, Issun now loomed large in the hearts of all. A new morning saw Issun, a new generation, ready to face whatever horrors crept from the dark. Even shadows bowed before the inch-high samurai who dared to walk beside them. Don't miss the next tiny legends. Subscribe and ring the bell for more heroic tales from Shadow AI. Remember, the shadows favored giants, but courage favors the bold. What monsters could you defeat with just a pin and your dreams? Stay curious, stay brave, because, in the dark, even the smallest blade can become a legend.